This morning's Old Testament reading is Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is he that made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.
And our second reading is from the book of John, chapter 15, selected verses. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes to make it bear more fruit. You have already been cleansed by the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. I have said these things to you, so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the master is doing, but I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. I am giving you these commands so that you may love one another. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. I want to thank the planning team for the invitation to speak here today. I must admit, it's really been a lot of fun to prepare this message, revisiting some Advent times and thinking about how to summarize them with the awesome audio-visual capabilities we now have. And I thought this would be a good time to recognize our video communication specialist. A little hard to see him up there, but you can see him there. There's Hope. So thank you. So I want to thank Hope for his efforts on this project, but also both for Hope and Alexander for the work that they do year-round on the work here audio-visually. I also wanted to introduce my family who were here doing the lighting of the Advent candle. That was my brother Andy, his wife Anna, their younger son Thad, and their daughter Rosemary. So happy to have them on. And now on to the memories. We just heard in John's Gospel, this is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. I've been blessed with some wonderful love one another opportunities in my lifetime. My first memories of Christmas revolve around an annual 9-hour drive from Bowling Green, Ohio to Central Illinois. And we were going to a little town called DeLong, and these are the folks who were there to greet us. This is actually a picture of my first Christmas. My parents are in the upper left-hand corner. My mom's parents are down in the middle center on the first row. As you can tell, there were lots of cousins and aunts and uncles, all sorts of wonderful time that awaited us after that 9-hour journey. There was lots of love and togetherness during that time. As you can see, with all those grandkids, can you imagine all of us being on the dining room floor, sleeping at night? That was the challenge our parents had. We all slept down on the dining room floor under or near the family piano. So that was one of my memories, certainly. Another were competitive ping pong matches down in the unfinished basement. And so you would hear shouting and laughing. It was just one of those things, that family togetherness, even though it was competitive, there was still a lot of love that was part of the experience. Another memory of those times in Belong were attending the little congregational church where my grandparents were members. My grandpa was frequently the Sunday school church superintendent. My grandma usually was a Sunday school teacher. And when we went to Sunday school and went to church there, you'd have just thought we were part of the family. There was no question when we showed up, it was just the Klein kids and grandkids are here. Welcome all. And it was one of those just wonderful feelings of being among new friends, just right there in that little congregational church. It was also here in DeLong where maybe I got my first education as a schemer. Well, as little boys, we had socks that looked something like this. And I don't know about you, but Santa would have a hard time filling much in this sock. So rather than putting this stocking up with care, we would usually borrow one of our cousin Nancy's tube socks. This looks like something that Santa can take care of. And then there was the opening of gifts. I know some family traditions are hand them out and rip them open, and that goes pretty quickly. But in the Long family, or the Klein family as my mother's maiden name, the Klein family tradition was to pass out all the gifts and then one at a time open each gift. So we would start with our youngest family member, which was frequently my sister. She would open her first gift. She would thank whoever it was that had given it to her, and frequently we had to then hear why the person thought it was such a great gift. And then on to the next, and the next, and so on. And then the second gift. And as you can imagine, for 15 to 20 of us, that took several hours. But the love that was in that room was marvelous, because we didn't only want the gifts, we wanted to hear more about them, or at least some of us wanted to hear more. And for many years I remember, as a child and as a teenager, that empty feeling at the end of Christmas. I'd get done with all the gifts, and none of those gifts gave me the jolt that I somehow thought I was going to get, even if it was just the gift I wanted. We'd head back to Bowling Green, and I just felt this emptiness. And I came to realize I wasn't there for the gift giving and the gift receiving. I was there for the family and the experiences that we had together. And so that's what really causes me to believe the loving presence of family and friends, old and new, can be your most precious presence. Then in Psalm 100, we hear, "Make a joyful noise." And this is another Christmas theme for me. Well, first, I'd love to tell you about the joyful noise that we've heard here in this sanctuary on Christmas Eve. But I have no memory of such things. The reason is we've never been here on Christmas Eve. So we ordinarily trek up north, and we go to Bowling Green, Ohio. But even though we've not been here for Christmas Eve, we've experienced incredible times with you all here at Mount Washington Presbyterian Church. We've enjoyed a lot of musically oriented Advent services. For instance, just a few weeks back in Davies Hall, we had a chance to enjoy some joyful noise with some incredible whirs and boppers, and what am I missing? Zippers, yes, thank you. The zippers are right here, they know. So the zippers and the boppers and the whirs, we had a great chance just to enjoy our time together. We've also enjoyed the 12 days of Christmas and the 11 Lords a Weeping. Another time, I remember we've done the Elizabethan feast, and I didn't know that anyone would ever get me in a pair of tights. But for that, a bunch of guys got dressed up for the Elizabethan experience. And then there was the year that the chancel choir did the Christmas section of Messiah. And our boys probably still can sing a lot of the portions of that from hearing it over and over again being sung by me. And the Advent season wouldn't be complete without Christmas caroling experiences. Last night, we had the chance to do that with a group of 25 plus, and many of you are here in the sanctuary today. You have that feeling in your hearts, that warm feeling of being part of that experience last evening. We've done that for the last 17 years here at the church, and each one of those 17 years has been an incredible blessing to those who participated. And I must admit, one family stands out because they've been with us every one of the 17 years. Ron Lyon's family is pictured in here, but Ron's family and various members have been with us all 17 years. There are a lot of favorite memories, but this one stands out as being particularly important. Down in the bottom left, you can see Babe Todd. This was her last Christmas with us here. And we had just a wonderful time experiencing Christmas caroling with Babe Todd. The caroling doesn't end in Cincinnati. We do a lot of caroling in Bowling Green. We were pleased to hear last night that our son even is continuing that up in Fremont. So caroling is just part of our life. And our next worship song, and the one that we just heard, this is Lo How Arose Sunday, by the way. This next song has particular meaning to me. My dad always thought that members of the same family should be genetically programmed to make good music together. And he had 3 follically challenged sons. So we named ourselves the Long Bald Men. And one Advent, a few years before our dad died, we had a chance to put this to music. We sang that song at Christmas Eve in Bowling Green that year, and it's just a wonderful memory. When they asked what song I would like to add to today, that was it, no question about it. So Psalm 100 resonates. It has that joyful noise experience to it, and in almost every experience that we have, I think one of the things about a joyful noise is show them a smile. It's about the joy that you're sharing. The musical sound matters a whole lot less if you're enjoying yourselves. Psalm 100 also mentions, serve the Lord with gladness. The final reflection I'll share today revolves around a serve the Lord experience. About 20 years ago now, I had the great opportunity from this spot to announce that we'd be doing the first annual Deacons Christmas Party. And in that message, we described exactly what that Deacons Christmas Party would include. We would invite 15 families from the neighboring area, from Mount Washington, actually from Batavia YMCA, from Sem Pantry, and from Eastern Avenue Outreach. We would have a traditional Christmas dinner for them, served on the good china and I don't know if it's china, but whatever it is in there. And the good tableware, let's call it that. And we were going to make sure that this was a family-style meal. And so we were going to need a lot of people. We were going to need cooks, cleanup people, people to do activities, any number of activities here. We would use gifts from the giving tree. So we put out special tags on the giving tree, and we used those for each of the children that would be coming in for that event. The senior high Sunday school class went out and bought other gifts for the families. And we thought it would really be nice, our grand plan would be if we could get enough money donated, because we didn't have money in the budget for this event. We were asking for donations that day. If we could get enough money, wouldn't it be wonderful if every guest family could be reminded of this season and have in their possession a nativity scene that had been provided by our church? That was going to cost a lot for 15 nativity scenes that look something like this one. After the moment for mission that morning, a treasured member of our congregation came up to me and told me that he and his family would make up any difference that was not taken care of with the gifts we had received so far. And so, knowing that that was the case, I, that afternoon, went out to the Lazarus department store and checked in at Lazarus because I'd already eyed these nativity scenes. They looked just right for what we wanted. And I got to Lazarus knowing I was going to buy 15 of those. And there were 8 on the shelf. So I grabbed the sales associate and I said, "Could you please look in the back and see how many more you have?" And that sales associate went back and she was gone for quite a while. I thought, I'm just out of luck. And she came back and she said, "Sorry, sir, we only have 7 more." Exactly 15 that we needed. And I said, thanks be to God. These are just wonderful moments when those kinds of things happen. Well, those Christmas parties went on for several years here at the church. And I think the thing that really I'm caught by in those experiences is the fact that it wasn't Mount Washington people and guests of our church. We were all there as one. We were sharing a dinner together, and you can see the picture. A little hard to see, but it's about 20 years old, so you might recognize some faces in there. Some 20 years newer faces. But we ate dinner together, all together as one big group, and the fellowship hall was rather filled, you might imagine, for that group. We cooked and cleaned together. And as I mentioned, we did all the dishes, so you can see we had dish people in the back. We did crafts. We told stories, sang carols. And I think what really happened as a result of this experience is we had a chance to be together with our brothers and sisters. And we really got a chance to share with our guests and with each other so much about what this season is all about. And so serving the Lord with gladness during Advent is a wonderful tradition we have here at Mount Washington, and will continue today, in fact, when we do the next community dinner. What I've learned through this experience is when you serve with gladness, you get so much in return. So for me and for this Advent reflection, it's all about relationships, savoring, noise-making, and serving. As we think about emulating Jesus the Christ during this season, may Christ's message of love and caring show in all our actions during this Advent season and all the year long. Amen.
Joy to the world. We have lit the candles of hope, of peace, of love. In the glow of their light, we feel the warmth of deep and quiet joy.
Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns.
Let our songs implore it.
Let us sing the glory of God.
Let us sing in the name of Christ, who offers us hope in the prison of despair.
Peace in chaos of life.
God's love graciously, silently, vulnerably offered.
Joy to the world. We have lit the candles of hope, of peace, of love. In the glow of their light, we feel the warmth of deep and quiet joy. Let us our songs employ. Let us sing in the name of Christ, who offers us hope in the prison of despair. God's love, graciously, silently, vulnerably offered. Our Old Testament reading this morning is Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is he that made us, and we are his. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.